What is going on, everyone, and welcome. If I look tired, it's because I have been tracking the Illuvium land sale all day while I've been working. I've been in Scoriox's chat. He's doing a 24-hour live stream of the Illuvium land drop, and it's been crazy to just see how clean it looks. It's done in Dutch auction on Immutable X, to see the interaction, to see the prices that have actually been consistently going down, so they're affordable, which is good for us, and to just consistently see them dropped and them selling out. This is actually a 3-day event. So I wanted to hop on and at least kind of give some knowledge around what this land drop is, what the prices are, how to actively, get some affordable pricing on it, and what it all looks like, because this is really, really awesome to see what's happening. So I'm going to talk about the utility. I'm going to talk about the game. I'm going to talk about the project, and I'm going to actively show you how to participate in this drop, as well as how to do it cheaper than most. Well, not most, but at least to actually get a little more bang for your buck than spending Ethereum on the land. So what is going on, everyone? Happy to see everyone in here. What is going on? Jess, the Harvesting Frog, Mike Lacey, what is going on? Majin, thanks everyone for hopping in here. Mike, pretty sure you can buy tiers 1 through 4 with Ether or SILV2. Yes, you can. Have you been hitting the gym? I have been hitting the gym a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this, so that way I can give a little bit of context. So this is actually a multi-day event. It started at, I think, 6 a.m. Pacific time. So I'm in California, and it's going to run for 3 days. So there's going to be a phase every hour over 3 days. And what's great is it's Dutch auction. So it started at really insane prices. And then we've seen some of that consolidate down to some of the pricing that we've now seen. So I'm going to kind of show what it looks like. There's a lot of strategy to this, but one thing I'll say is they chose to do this land drop on Immutable X, or at least in tandem with Immutable X. And it is super clean. When you think about like what happened with Otherworld, like the largest NFT land sale to date, there's tons of gas fees. There was tons of issues. It actually shut down Etherscan. And this has been going off all day with, for the most part, like not a hitch. Like it has been clean, consistent, and there is a viable secondary market in the Immutable X marketplace that you can actually go ahead and list, buy at different prices. But in here, you're spending Ethereum, versus in here, you can actually spend SILV2. Is more profitable buy with SLV2 or ETH in your opinion? 100% SILV2. So the reason why, and we'll talk about this, but first of all, this is kind of what the different look is. There's tier 1 lands, there's tier 2 lands. And so far, the pricing has been consistently going a little bit down, so they're more affordable, right? So I'm going to refresh this page. It shows the floor for tier 1 lands, which are the cheapest lands. So currently 0.0367, but they were selling up to, let's sort by highest price. People were spending 2 ETH at the start of this day, and now they've consolidated down to about 0.3, was it 0.36? Yeah, 0.36 ETH. And it's consistently going a little bit more down, but we're starting to see some consolidation of the pricing. And so the thing is these are dropped in phases every hour. And so we're seeing where the price range is going lower and lower and lower. But that also means that the total supply of different lands that you could want over the 3 days is going to become limited. And eventually we'll find that bottom, and then it's going to go ahead and start ticking back up. And people are going to have to make do with what they can get. So I'm choosing to do it now in this part of the day at a lower cost, and I can get the lands that I want and hopefully build what is called a mega city. We'll talk about that. And basically it is every hour on the hour. So we have 11 minutes until this pricing drops a little bit more. And where is it currently? You can see right now it is at 0.578, and it dropped down from 0.593 to, and it's going to 0.563 next. If I refresh this is tier 1 land, by the way, the cheapest land that you can get. You can see there's 149 current of this phase left of these plots. If I zoom in, I can go to show. You can see it zooms into where that location is. Right now I have this set to only show tier 1s. What's great is you can actually filter what's on sale, what's coming soon, what's been sold, what's expired, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, yada, yada, yada. You can see how those apply. And with this, tiers 5 aren't even out yet. There's only going to be 2 in this entire drop, and they're going to sell for buku bucks. Tier 4s, there's only so many that drop each phase, and they've been anywhere from 20 ETH all the way down to, I think 14 ETH was the last floor that I saw. So they are really, really selling high, but there's a reason for why the different tiers, different amounts, different resource collecting, different landmarks. And we'll talk all about that with the time that we have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how to buy this. ETH 6 2.0. I'm not sure. ETH 2.0, man. ETH 2.0 is going to be a while, right? It's still talked about happening in 2023, but we're not sure. Now, if you're interested in this land sale, Illuvium's been building out for, well over a year. The first time I heard about it was in March of last year. It was just kind of like this, here's this project. And it looked cool, but there wasn't a whole lot to it. It's been talked about. It's been built up. It is a huge project. They have how many in the total Discord? Man, it is massive. In their Discord, they have 210,000 people. They have over 300,000 active community members on Twitter. They are a big project. They are working with Immutable X. They have a lot of clout for a top blockchain gaming company. And this land sale is going to be massive, what it produces over these 3 days, and going to make substantial headlines. So we're going to talk about the utility, because that's also the thing too, is like when you think about when you got land, if you bought Axie land, there's still no utility, well, for the most part, for over a year. And that's a game where the blockchain gaming, if you're a gamer, it doesn't really speak to many, but it was a good way to make money. This is different. This appeals to games and to gamers, and it is a AAA game. It looks quality. I've streamed some of the gameplay before, and this itself is its own kind of side game. If you like Clash of Clans and those types of games, this is Illuvium Zero, and this land ties into the main game as well as all games that they will build out. So there's only going to be so many of these set. Now, if you want to go ahead and purchase land before you spend Ethereum, make sure that you actually take a look at SILV2. That is essentially the token that you get rewarded if you're staking Illuvium. You can either choose to claim more Illuvium or you can claim SILV2. However, if you're not staking Illuvium, what you can do is you can buy it on the secondary market. So this is SILV2. If you need the where to find it, like this is the token address. And basically what you would do is you would take this token address, go over to Uniswap and punch it in here. You just go to here, and then you'd have to go over to manage token list or whatever, and then customize, add in that address. And then what you can do is you can swap Ethereum or whatever for SILV2. Now, your question probably is, well, Ethereum is $1,800, right? And SILV2 is only $179. The reason why you'd want to spend SILV2 in the land sale and not Ethereum is because SILV2 is 1-for-1 matched to the normal government's token of Illuvium, the ILV token. So it's $279, right? At current price. So it has more buying power at this total cost. So I loaded up. I bought like 30 or so at around $105. And so I have roughly around 37 SILV2, which that cost me around, at the time, about, I don't know, $3,300. So I spent $3,300, but we know that it is 1-for-1 for the ILV token. So the ILV token is $279 times 37. I have $10,323 of buying power in this land sale. So, and you'll be able to use it for game progression and for other elements within the game as well. So it's not just a one and done on land, but also used in the game. So that is why you want to buy SILV2 now. And yes, it is higher than what I bought it at, but it's still better than spending Ethereum and being able to have that leverage to have more buying power for this land grab. So let's see where the price is at. You can see now the tier one's down to 0.0509, but we can see that the price is, that's tier 3. The price did go down as low as 0.36 on the last phase. So we've got a little bit more time. You can see 247, but I'm going to update that. 233. So some people are limping in, but we're going to wait for that price to go down. The last like few minutes of this, and then it overlaps into the next phase, is where we see those prices going down. So I'm going to be targeting not just tier 1, but I'm looking at mostly tier 2 and tier 3 because I roughly have about, I don't know, 10,000 or so plus buying power. So I can actually grab a tier 3, which the floor for the tier 3s were right around 4 ETH, or just south of $8,000. So I could buy a tier 3, which has a lot more resources, the ability to gain more ROI, and then build little mega cities around it if I choose the right strategy, and I can get like a tier 1 or a tier 2 next to it, and then I only manage one large mega city, and I'm accumulating those resources across. So that is the goal, and that's also why I want to do this day 1 and not wait till day 2 and day 3 when all the whales jump in even more so and people are maxing out this strategy. So that is a little bit about my strategy on this. We're going to check back in this in the next 4 minutes, but I'm sure all of you are kind of wondering, like, okay, we understand how to get it cheap now. Actually, let me go ahead and share the site where I'm pulling SLV. Again, what you do is you go to this website, you go ahead and click right here, that copy address, and then you'd go to Uniswap and you can swap ETH for it or whatever. Yeah. So let me go ahead and take this address. I'll go ahead and type it into the chat. Airmon asks, what tiers have you gotten? I haven't gotten anything yet. I've been watching these prices like a hawk all day, watching them go down and go down. So that way I can really get in where I believe the floor will be before it rallies back up. And I think it could go a little bit lower, but at these prices, I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to get a tier 3 today. I thought I was going to have to go for like 2 tier 2s. And with this pricing, I can go for a tier 3 and multiple tier 1s, or I can go for a tier 3 plus a tier 2 and maybe a tier 1. But that's kind of my strategy around this. And then what's great too is, again, you can go to Immutable X marketplace and even potentially get some things cheaper. You can see right now in Immutable X, but again, this is also Ethereum. So consider that if you're not going with SLV2. But the secondary market has been very active. People have been sweeping some of these floors and getting more land where they can. So it's selling fast. And what's great too is it's so clean. It's been working super, super well with the tie to Immutable X. This is a huge, huge project, land sale, especially for Immutable X, right? You can see, where was it? Robbie Ferguson from IMX, GM Illuvium, excited for one of the biggest gaming drops in Web3. I mean, this is a huge project. I'm so excited for this. I'm really happy to be able to grab some of this land. And then I read this article that said, like a mine that can give you residual income for 10 years. Kieran Warwick on Illuvium is an imminent digital land sale. So this is not kind of like a one and done ROI. You have immediate utility. You have the ability to start collecting resource. You have the ability to resell in markets. It's going to fuel the game for the landowners who chose to take part in this Genesis land sale. There will be future land sales, but we don't know necessarily when those will really be. There could be another 20,000 land coming this year, but at that point, the game will be out. And this is the Genesis land sale, right? So this will kind of, I hope, have a lot more standing as it goes into more awareness for Illuvium. Once the game is fully out to the public, I have beta access on one phase of the game. When it hits the mass public, you're going to see Twitch streamers going after. You're going to see all of YouTube going over it. I mean, it's a huge, huge project. I don't talk often about blockchain gaming. I talked about Axie, and I did do Axie, and I made some money doing it. But then I stopped talking about it because I saw the values drop, because Axie still needs a lot of kind of revamping to continue. And it wasn't really a fun game. I was just breeding them and making money that way. But Illuvium is built for gamers, and the quality, the graphics, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, please go watch some of the gameplay. Please go watch some of the trailers. They are insane. What is this price at now? We have still currently, with 1 minute left until the next phase, 0.448, 188 in supply. On tier 2, we have, and I'll talk about the differences between tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. 1.346, okay, with 48 left to go. And I'm looking for tier 3, 21 left, 17 left, and we're at 4.48. I really want to try to get underneath 4 ETH for my tier 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be buying a tier 3 first, and then strategically looking where those other lands are, that way I can build that mega city. And I'm going to be looking at the actual number of the plots. So that way, if they already sold, maybe I can hop into Immutable X marketplace and someone lists that not thinking ahead, and I go ahead and snipe it, and I can build my mega city for a lower cost anyways. So that is part of my plan, and we're at the hour. So you see how I had 188 supply and it's still going lower. We're going to refresh. The next phase is now out. And boom, 459 are now in circulation. And we can see that they're still going. There's still some active supply from the last phase. It's actually still quite a lot. Good. But if I hop over to the next phase, you can see starts at 20 ETH. And this is for the tier 3. Starts at 20 ETH and consistently goes down. If this is your first Dutch auction, this is one of the cleanest I've ever seen. I was in the Dutch auction for Clone X, was watching it. I didn't get one. Dumb. I didn't know that Nike was gonna actually acquire them. And then, of course, what happened with the Clone X? Man, that was a big miss on my part. But this is the cleanest Dutch auction I have ever seen with this kind of volume. That people are buying these like crazy. So I'm gonna be strategically looking at what I'm gonna buy. And I'm going to probably be buying it at the end of this hour. So I'm not going to be streaming the whole time, but I wanted to show you what this looks like. If you're thinking like, I'm not so sure about this, I don't want to spend a ton on this, then really your best bet is to go for tier 1 land. This is currently I want to go tier 3. I want to go to filter, tier 1 land, on sale, apply, boom. So we still have quite a bit of the tier 1 going at 0.42, but I've been tracking the floors. The last floor for tier 1 was at 0.36. So this is kind of where we're test casing it, right? Tier 1 has gone down quite a bit, but when it starts to even out, that's usually a sign that it's going to start to uplift, and it's kind of getting there. So I'm watching this like a hawk. Is it worth it to swap ETH for Illuvium to make a purchase? What you'd want to do, Airman, is you'd want to swap Ethereum for SLV2, or you can swap, I think you can swap USDT. Let's go ahead and go to USDT. Yeah, you can swap a stable coin, right? So you can see if I want to swap it, gas is low because they did a Dutch auction. So it isn't having the gas prices go insane because people are buying all throughout the day over 3 days. Really freaking well done. Stoked to see this. And so we're not spending an absolute ton in gas. And then because it's on a layer 2 immutable X afterwards, there's no gas. It's super easy. You just have to enable the wallet. So there's like a one-time charge of, I think it was like $8 last night when I enabled it. So what you want to do is, if you haven't yet, if you want to check this out for yourself, make sure you go in the details of this video and click on the link that actually takes you to the Illuvium land site. You can also go to Illuvium's Twitter. This is the site right here, illuvidex.illuvium.io land sale, and that will take you directly to this. But let's talk about land, because this is a complex project. It isn't just like hey, grab land and there will be utility in the future, or we're going to be doing airdrops. You're going to be able to actively play a game on mobile and desktop with this game that ties into other games, and you're providing the resources needed to fuel those games for advanced gameplay, for skins, for different things. But we're going to talk about that as well. NF Thankful, thank you. Best of luck, Taps. Thank you. No matter the guitar. Hey, Taps, what are you willing to pay for tier 1? Are you only getting tier 1? No, I'm going for tier 3, man. I'm going to spend around 4 ETH, but because I spent around 3,300 back when SLV2 was cheap to load up, and I have $10,000 roughly of buying power. So that equates out my 10,000 to, let's see, I have 10,323 at 37 SLV2 divided by what is Ethereum's. So it's 1-for-1 to Illuvium's price at 278. That's how I got that $10,000 worth of buying power. Ethereum is currently at 1826. So essentially, divided by 1826, I have roughly about 5.6 ETH of buying power. So with that, if I can get a tier 3 at under 4 ETH, and then I can get a tier 2 at 1.3, I mean, that's solid. If I could have them joining, that'd be great. But I'd be able to get multiple tier ones at the point 0.03 and change, wherever it's at right now. So we still have how much from the previous. So it flows over if it doesn't sell out. We still got plenty. And sometimes there's a little bit of lag on these, but it looks like we still got plenty from tier one. So it's at currently 0.38. And again, the previous bottom was at 0.367. I know I'm moving fast, but I want to make sure I get through what the utility is to land, why it's such a valuable land grab. And again, things move fast. I've been watching this all day while trying to work, and it's been absolutely insane. Veve didn't work, so let's hop to Illuvium. No. I've been talking about Illuvium since summer of last year. So I've always talked about other projects, but obviously I talk 98% of the time about Veve and Ecomi. I'm actually still up on my Veve collectible investments. I'm down on my Omi investment, but I'm still very, very bullish on Ecomi and Veve. However, I have big passion for crypto outside of Omi and Veve. I've always diversified. I'm always interested in ways that I can also find big projects, and Illuvium is insane. So that's why I'm covering it today. But I get it, right? Like, I'm definitely not, going to stop streaming or stop covering Veve and Omi content. Thanks. I've been watching the sale for a couple hours. It's crazy, man. If you haven't hopped on Scoriox, Scoriox, he's doing a 24-hour live stream. I'm actually going to hop on his live stream at 7:54 after this to kind of speak with him. He's been killing it all day. People were suggesting the second day is the time to buy. Any opinion? Real talk, I would say the prices could go lower at that time. However, you're going to have a lot. There's no guarantee, right? You're going to have a lot less options for the kind of land that you could if you're going for mega cities, if you're trying to adjoin those tier ones. Oh, and it sold out. So that last phase is now sold out. And you can see now we're back to a 1.67 floor that is declining because of the Dutch auction sale on the next phase. And let's see if the floor went any lower. I think it might have actually either gone not as low this time. 0.367 was the previous. Nope. So it's starting to kind of pick up, and it could go lower. But again, this is where I'm starting to see a little bit of balance. So I don't think the tier 2 sold out yet. Let's reload. Yep, tier 2 sold out. What about my tier 3s? And the tier 3s from the last phase sold out. So the floors haven't gone lower for, I think, the last 2 or 3 phases. So that's kind of a good sign that it went a little like 0.03 lower on tier 2, but on tier 3s and tier 1s, nothing lower. Nomadic Card asks, will tier 1 be profitable? Not willing to put thousands into this, LOL. Looks like it's 0.39 ETH right now. How low will it go? And it's tier 1 worth it? And what area should I buy? What area is best? That is really up for debate. When we look at what is sold out some of the quickest, you can filter this by the different regions. So what's sold out some of the quickest has been the Halcyon Sea, Taiga Boreal, and a little bit of like Crystal Shores and some others in here. So the reason why is some people are relating them to the types of illuviums that they want to try to collect. But it's all kind of up for debate. And every single plot comes with different resources, right? So if I go to the sold side, that's sold. If I go to show, you can see this one came with no landmarks. So landmarks produce higher resources, and we'll get into that. But you can see this came with Krypton, Lake, and Crystal Deposit. This one came with the same thing. Let's go down here. Boom. So you can see it has different accumulations of different resources, and you don't know it until you mint it, right? So it's all going to kind of come into play with different resources. People will need different things, and we're going to talk about that right now. So to answer your question, Nomad, if you can swing it, I would say the stronger ROI would be tier 2 and above. If you were going to go for a tier 1, the reason why is if you want to still accumulate resources, it's just going to be slower to accumulate, and or having part of the land sale genesis. Look at what happened with Axie with their land sale genesis, right? you could have bought it super, super cheap when it first came out. And then for a while, the average floor was around 3.5 to 4 ETH. I think it's lower now, like 1.5 to 2. And they're still kind of developing that utility. I think it's supposed to come out actually this month. But that's kind of some of the details around my thoughts on the ROI. I'd say if you have the funds, I would go for a tier 2. And I know that's over 1 ETH at this current price, less if you're spending SLV2. But I would definitely say if you're going to go for tier 1s, maybe go for 2 and have them join for a mega city. But it's up to you, right? Like, never financial advice, just kind of trying to talk about strategy on what you would do with tier 1s. So other than flipping, will we actively be awarded for just owning land? Is that all we have to do? Yes. So there is revenue distribution that will happen if you are staking Illuvium as well. Actually, I'm not sure if you have to. I think you have to be staking Illuvium in order to get RevDis, which is revenue distribution, but also you're going to be accumulating resources that you can actively sell. So let's talk about what this looks like in a little bit grander detail. This is a huge article that really goes into the Illuvium land sale, completely explained. You can see the perks of owning land, tier 1 through 5 land. No one's getting tier 5 land in this chat. Tier 5 land is going to sell for some stupid, stupid price. To put that in perspective, tier 4, the floor right now is around 14 ETH. Tier 5 land, there's only 2 in this entire sale over 3 days. And those are going to be able to have arenas, basically where we're all going to be fighting in arena format. And that's going to have a lot of draw to it. So whoever ends up buying tier 5 land, it's going to be absolutely insane. And you can see that has 12 fuel sites for tier 5. Tier 4 have 9 fuel sites. Tier 3 has 6 fuel sites. Tier 2 has 3 fuel sites. Tier 1 has 1 fuel site. Element sites 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And you can see the tier boost. So this is basically what happens on the added tiers, why you'd want to kind of upscale to a higher tier if you choose to spend the money. And so tier 2, you have 33% gain in those resources, 100% on tier 3, 300% tier 4, so on and so forth. And there's landmarks on tier 3 through tier 5 that accumulate on this side. So you can see that the total plots of the land sale, there's 20,000 total over 3 days, and it's rolling out in set phases. In the starting price, 2 ETH for tier 1, but obviously it's dropped down to 0.36 or so. So it's definitely more affordable. 6 has dropped down to 1, 20 has dropped down to around 14, and the tier 4 tier 4 has been now 14, and the tier 5, you can't even use SLV2. It has to be Ethereum only, and we don't know what that is going to start at the start of the Dutch auction. And the land generates fuel that can be sold for Ethereum. So to answer your question, Osa Sola, there's immediate utility. You're immediately accumulating fuel that you can then sell for Ethereum. That again, why would someone spend money on these resources? Because it's going to be needed in order to progress gameplay and do an assortment of things, as well as you'll be able to scan your land for alluvial biodata and research this to generate rare blueprints, which are also NFTs, basically skins that can be sold for Ethereum or used for new crafting, cosmetic, armor, and item skins. And in order to actively, I believe, act on the blueprints, you do have to spend SILV2. So there's some benefit to not spending all of your SILV2 as well. Elements are used to construct structures. So I feel like everyone at one point played Clash of Clans, right? You remember playing Clash of Clans and you needed, what were they, like gems or whatever? Or you had to wait a period of time before you could upgrade your walls and like the next stage of your different weapons and things like that. That's essentially what fuel is going to be used for in order to construct these structures in order to do further things. So fuel is used for constructing advanced structures and can be sold for ETH as well. Arenas can generate additional income from tournaments and sponsorships. Again, those arenas will only be on tier 5 land. So how much plots do you need for a mega city? Technically, a mega city is formed at 2, right? So you could have 2 adjoining lands, but the thing is like, if I want to, let's say I want to buy this tier 1. You can see it's available. I click in on that, shows me where it is, and then I can choose to buy with Ethereum, buy with SILV2. You can see the elements. It won't show me the actual fuel and all that until I actively buy it. But let's go ahead and add back in tier 2, tier 3. Now, if I wanted to buy this one, and I wanted to buy this one, you can see this one is currently for sale. If I click on this sale, This sale starts in 17 hours and 44 minutes. So you can see which plots are sold. And there's even the strategy, if you have the real ability to kind of look and try to block someone, you can build a mega city, but you also have to see what's surrounding, right? If I want to go ahead and get this tier 2, I see that's dropping in 40 hours. If I want to go ahead and continue that, this is dropping in 15 hours. So it's super, super strategic, and you never know who you're competing against. And you can try to build. So this one was already purchased for 6 ETH earlier today. This is a tier 3. And this person, you could always try to buy tier 1 land around them. So that way you're trying to block them from building their mega city. And then maybe you can put yours listed in Immutable X Marketplace for a higher price, hoping that they spend more to buy you out to continue their mega city. So insane building strategy here that's going to come into play, especially because there are some people who have thousands of SLV2, tons of Ethereum, and some have hopped in, but I think we're going to see more hop in day 2 and day 3. Day 3 especially, there's going to be a lot of FOMO that day. Can you see the price in SLV2? How are you monitoring the exchange rate? So I just know how much I have, and I'm more focused on the fact that SLV2 is equal to Illuvium's price, which has kind of stayed the same today. So you can monitor SLV2's price again in right here. You can see it's at $172. And it's kind of been bouncing around all day. It's been anywhere from it's picking up around here earlier. It jumped all the way up from 125, super, super early, shot up all the way to 170, went up to 180, bounced down, and continues to build back up. So the way they did this is smart because SLV2 is not going to drop immediately. I think once the sale's over, SLV2 is going to drop quite a bit. So I'm kind of considering, do I sell my SLV2 afterwards if I have any residual and then buy back in it when it's lower? But that's something to consider as well. Of course, man, happy to help. Should I be concerned about the possibility of the SEC going after Illuvium for being a securities? I saw that post from Kay kind of questioning that. And I actually don't know how to answer that, because the revenue distribution side it almost feels like a dividend, right? And I'm not sure how they found a loophole or how they built that out, but understanding the leadership behind Illuvium, it's 3 of the 4 Warwick brothers. The 4th Warwick brother is Kane Warwick, the CEO and creator of Synthetics, which is one of the biggest in standards for DeFi. And so I imagine when they were setting all this up, going through all that, how do we remain not a security? That was kind of part of the conversation, but I don't really have the answer to that. But yeah, that's a really good question. And I think it's a really good one to ask maybe in the next AMA with Kieran, the CEO of Illuvium. But good point. Airman says, I love Clash of Clans. Dude, I loved Clash of Clans. I had an entire little guild and played it religiously for like a year. Yeah, so let's continue talking about the land before we kind of continue on looking at the different, where are we at on the price? See, I love this Dutch auction. I love that I didn't have to spend 2 ETH for one of these tier 1 plots, right? The prices are really, really fair, and I'm not spending a ton in gas thanks to this huge drop in the way that they did this, rolling on phase over 3 days and via Immutable X. So, and if you're curious, like, how can I find like a quick resource and not have to read through this huge document about resources and the different alluvials that you can, play with in the game? Basically, it's this fun, like, NFT meets crypto meets Pokemon meets kind of like team fight tactics for one of the gameplays meets Clash of Clans. There's so many elements to this, and it's super exciting to see how they appeal to all types of gamers and just how fast they've grown. And there's a lot of excitement around this project. But Illuvial is a great place to kind of find some quick info on resources, on the different tiers, on the alluvials, classes, augments, regions, all that. But continuing this document, I want to talks about land perks. Already spoke about that. Skins, land exists through 7 regions. Connecting adjacent land to form a mega city. Yep, people are already doing that, and it's part of the strategy. You can see the land sale started today, and it goes all the way to June 5th. Does that mean it's 4 days? I think that 3 days. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, I'm like, wait, is that 4 days? That's where it's hosted. 20,000 plots. Only 100,000 plots will ever exist. However, we know that there may be a chance 20,000 could drop later this year, but the 100,000 are not going to drop all in 1 year. It's going to be over several years. There is tier 0 land. So if you want to play the game and not collect any resources, you can have tier 0, and it's automatically generated for you at no cost when you first sign into the Illuvium Zero game. But again, if you want to actively play the game or have resources to fuel the success of Illuvium, that's why you would buy land for sure, since tier 0 doesn't generate resources. Directly into Luvidex, no gas fee. Okay, let's hop down here because, again, this is a huge, huge article. Talks about why you would buy. Revenue earnings. Landowners earn approximately 5% of the total revenue generated from in-game fuel purchases in Illuvium. So again, just by being a landowner, you're also getting back some of the revenue that's coming from the total sale, or approximately total revenue from the in-game. Sorry, from the total sale of fuel that's going to be continuously happening, right? Sorry, I usually have all this top of mind, but it's been a crazy day trying to balance this all. Scanning for blueprints. Once you have built up your land, have the necessary structures, you can build a singularity scanner. So you have to build that, which I believe will cost SLV2. Singularity scanners pick up biodata from alluvials that pass your land. Once you have the data, you can research it to create rare blueprint NFTs. Blueprints are needed to craft skins in Illuvium or can be sold to other players for Ethereum. Talks about the element sites, landmarks, locations. Again, there's, I believe, 7 different locations, different regions. So this is the breakdown again of the tiers. We spoke to that. I think I covered it all, actually. Again, very, very quick stream. Just kind of wanted to get everyone into the know about what's happening. And these are selling out. Every phase is selling out. And again, some of the pricing is starting to kind of even out on the floor. So that's why I was waiting to do a stream until just now. I could have done it earlier, but I really wanted to make sure it was an ideal time for people to learn and kind of see, okay, is it time to jump into this, get a little bit of knowledge and try to understand just when is the right time to buy, which it could go lower. However, I'm at the point where I feel comfortable spending what I want to spend to get my tier 3 and build a little mega city around it. Yep. Perfect. We're through that. So I'm going to keep watching these prices on tier 1, tier 2, tier 3s, and I'm going to be building around this. But again, this is, you can kind of see that, again, so many people have built their own kind of customizable content, how the land sale starts, how it goes down. You can actively change the different tiers. And the cheapest land could ever become, like, if the prices keep dropping, it could become the cheapest, I believe, is like 5% of the original list, or at the starting list of a Dutch auction. So for instance, tier 3 at its original list price, I think the cheapest it could go would be like $1,000. So like 0.6 ETH, right? However, I don't see that happening with tier 3, especially since we're starting to see quite a bit of a bottom on the tier 3s at around just south of 4 ETH. Anything else I want to share here? I don't think so. So looking at the numbers, I don't think it's going to outsell or even be half of what happened with Bored Apes' other side virtual land sale, but is much cleaner. People lost like $60 million in gas fees due to this land sale. And actually, Immutable X are submitting a case, or I saw them post something about how they're trying to bring the other side land onto Immutable X in order to offset some of the costs. And if they make that happen, that's why I hold Immutable X. They're building a lot fast. I am curious to see what the tier 5s will sell for. I don't know if it'll outsell the largest single plot sale. This is done in Decentraland for 2.4 million, but it's going to be up there. Answer a few more questions here. Let's see. So how many plots do you see? Can you see the price? Yep. You think it's important to have land as close to tier 5 land as possible? I know tier 5 land is isolated. I would say if you're trying to really target building around like a whale, I would definitely play around with this. and I would play with these filters and kind of see. So I'm looking in this area. I would make sure that I'm like, let's see if you want to buy like tier 1. Maybe you're buying tier 1, right? Apply. Someone bought that tier 4. They spent 22 ETH on that tier 4. But this one is selling in 41 hours. This one's selling in 9 hours, this tier 1. So if you wanted to go for this tier 1, you could kind of go for it around tier 4s. I would recommend, if you're trying to kind of just make a quick flip on the land, maybe you target near a tier 4 or a tier 3, probably tier 4s. So that way you can try to get some of that land close to a whale, and then they have to buy you out in order to continue to build their mega city. But good question. Veve should take notes on this land auction. I mean, they don't sell land yet, right? So I know that's coming eventually. I imagine that's probably well into 2023, maybe even 2024 before they sell land in the Veveverse. First, we need the Veveverse, right? But this sale has been super clean, like real clean. So I'm enjoying it. Again, I've been addicted all day watching it. What's up, Bill? Thanks for hopping in here. Did you get some properties taps? I'm watching. I'm actually going to be probably buying in the next 32 minutes. I'm going to be buying my tier 3 then, and then I'm going to be building around it. That green frog person has everything. Green frog person. Not sure what you're saying there. But wanted to hop on a quick stream again because I know most of my content is focused around Veve and Omi and other NFT projects sometimes. And I'm really excited about this land sale. I'm excited about this project. I've been talking about it since summer of last year. And so I want to just kind of share, if you're interested in this land sale, how to go about it, how to get land cheaper, and why it is so exciting. Once this sells out, which it will sell out on day 3, there's going to be 20,000 land sold. I have no idea what the total amount of Ethereum is going to be. I know earlier this morning we were over 1,100 Ethereum, I believe, was sold. So it's probably somewhere over 2,000 now. But it's going to be substantial size land sale. That's going to make crypto news. That's going to make a lot of big news across the space. And then it's going to bring in more awareness, especially since this is the Genesis land sale. When the game comes out, people start playing the game. They're like, man, how do I advance? Like, people spent a ton of money in Clash of Clans and all those other things, and just in like Fortnite for skins. How do they do that? They're going to need resources. And those of us who took this time to buy the land now, we're the ones fueling it, right? We're the ones who have the resources. So we'll be able to sell that for Ethereum and sell that to players in order for them to advance that gameplay and to continue to play once the game is released. I think it's slotted for some time in summer, but yeah, I'm stoked on this land sale. 30-second breakdown of how you buy. Bill, what you'd want to do is you want to go ahead and buy SLV2. I posted in the comments as well as the video details. You're going to want to go and pull this address. Then you go to Uniswap. You can swap it for USDT or Ethereum or whatever, and then go ahead and pull however much you want. You have more buying power with SLV2 because it is a 1-for-1 match to not Ethereum, to ILV, the Illuvium token, which is currently at 280, even though the price right now for SLV2 is at 172. So you're spending less for something that is a 1-for-1 match of Illuvium to get more buying power. So don't spend Ethereum if you don't have to. If you're like, I don't want to go through this process, then you can spend Ethereum, but just know you could get this for a better bargain if you choose to use SLV2. I saw you this morning on Scorex live stream, both of us going strong. I know, man. He's been killing it. It's that person's icon of who bought the land. So have they been just scooping up a ton? This is pretty awesome, though. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to get my land, and I hope prices don't start shooting up like crazy. Where's my tier 3s at? See, we're at 30 minutes in, and no one's spending at the current price 9 ETH for tier 3. But if you look where it started, let's go to the sold side. Sold, highest price. Someone spent 20 Ethereum on tier 3 to start, 19 Ethereum, 18 Ethereum. So there was like initial FOMO, and people were just like, I don't care, I'm getting my spots, and they just grabbed. And then since then, this price has gone down to about 4 ETH because the Dutch auction continues. So it's more affordable for people like me and you. Like, I'm not a Ethereum or an SLV2 whale, so I very much prefer these prices, but those prices will reclimb up, especially as the days continue to go on. So I'm going to keep staying on top of this. What's the best plot to buy for long-term holds? It's up for debate because we don't know what's going to really happen. Some of the quickest to sell out so far have been Halcyon Sea and Taiga Boreal. But again, that can change. And part of the reason why too is because people like the alluvials that are supposed to be in those regions, which again, you can find out more information on infoalluvial.io if you want to look at the alluvials and more information on the regions, as well as that's probably your best bet because they have kind of like the most kind of user-friendly about learning about Illuvium. But good question. It's up for debate, man. And you don't know what resources you get until you mint the land. So I'm going to keep on top of this. I'm going to jump back into it. I'm going to buy my land. Basically, essentially today, I'm going to be spending $3,300 for probably 3 different types of land, 1 tier 3, 1 tier 2, and 1 tier 1, or 1 tier 3 and 2 tier 1s. And I'll spend a little bit less. And that $3,300 I invested has $10,000 worth of buying power. I did buy SLV2 cheaper when it was around like $110 or so. So I did think ahead when we did have that big dip. Won't total lands be 100,000? Yo, crypto, yes, they will be total 100,000 over a large time period. So there will be a total of 5 land drops, but it'll be over years, is our understanding. So there could be a second land drop maybe near the end of this year, but that's not confirmed. And then maybe we have 2 more the following year, and then the final one in 2024. But this is the Genesis land sale, and there will only ever be 100,000 plots of land. The scalability of this game, when you look at games like Teamfight Tactics and people who are Twitch streaming and YouTube content, the battle style of the battle game that is currently in beta, I do have beta access if you didn't watch the video on it, it is that exact style, and people love those types of games. However, this land sale, Illuvium Zero, is similar to Clash of Clans style game, right? So there's multiple games that are going to be built in this AAA gaming franchise. And so there's going to be a total 100,000 over years. However, the next 2.5 days, there's a total of 20,000. So something to consider. But good question. What's up, Red Julius in the house? Subtaps, welcome back home. Thanks, Red Julius. I've been seeing you in Scoriox's live stream as well. And yeah, man. So again, we're at 48 minutes of the stream. I didn't want to have this go too long. You can tell I'm excited. I'm amped up. I need to buy my land and get in before everyone else does and just kind of get my plots. And then I'm going to build strategically around it to get my mega cities, hopefully. And I kind of don't want to show you guys where I bought right away because I want to build my plot. And I don't want someone to go, oh, well, I see where Taps's tier 3 is. I'm going to buy a tier 1 right next to him and then upcharge him because I know that's a smart strategy because I'll probably buy it. So I'm going to buy my tier 3 and then announce it later where I bought and what my mega city looks like. Hopefully I'm able to do a tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. But if you have any more questions about this, ping me in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button. And thanks for everyone for hopping in the stream. And I am really looking forward to seeing where this goes. And hopefully we're able to be neighbors. And again, if you're in a guild, if you haven't joined a guild and you want to kind of join others, I highly recommend the Shiny Shards Illuvium Guild. I'm a member. We have a pretty large guild. And so there's been some talk around building around each other too. So that way we can kind of share resources in tandem and build kind of like tied in mega cities. So there's other guilds besides just that one guild too. So something to consider. Kudos to the team though. Pretty smooth overall and it looks easy, but it's not. The strategy's not easy, but smooth land sale. I'm guilty of buying wave too. You're going to wait till tomorrow, Red Julius? Let's see what happens, man. It could go down, but we'll see. Best of luck over the next few days. Cheers. Thank you. Thanks, Taps. Cheers, everyone. Again, hit that like button, show support. If you have any questions on Illuvium, hit me up in Twitter, hit me up on the YouTube comments, and I'm happy to address. I'll also type these links into a comment on the video so that way they're easier accessible, but they are in the details of this video. And good luck on your land buys, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers, everyone.